Oh, yeah?
I understand it's going to be a cruise ship.
Oh, there you go.
I was going to say, it makes sense.
I look forward to that.
Thanks, Bo.
You're
Thanks a
welcome.
lot, Bo. Much more news coming up right now here on NBC 6 tonight.
Now here's Tony Segreto with a look at what's coming up in our next half hour. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Jennifer. Well, your child's safety in the classroom is grabbing the attention of the nation's doctors. Up next at 5:30, find out why violence at school is being called the #1 public health crisis in the country. Also tonight,
he was going to show him, he was going to go get his gun. Sure.
Dramatic testimony from the limousine driver in the Brian Blades manslaughter trial. And for the first time, the victim's sister is speaking out.
We'll have those stories. Plus, they're breaking up the ice at Miami Arena, and now you can own a piece of history. Find out how. And the Olestra onslaught. The new oil makes fat-free junk food, but a consumer watchdog group is doing all it can to keep you from buying the products.
You're watching WTVJ NBC 6, where the news comes first. This is Channel 6 News at 5:30.
How safe are your children on campus? A new health study says they're surrounded by danger and in need of more discipline because the learning process is being disrupted by violence at school. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tony Segreto. Jose has the day off.
And I'm Jackie Nesbral. The statistics are alarming and have the attention of both educators and the nation's doctors, who say violence at your child's school has reached epidemic proportions. NBC 6 reporter Ed Odell is here with details. Ed?
Jackie, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention label violence the #1 threat to public health. And though researchers give America a failing grade in fighting the public enemy, Dade school system spends $33 million fighting campus crime. A gang-related shooting spills into the hallways of Miami High School. A student and a former student fortunately survived gunshots. The incident graphic support of a new CDC study arguing that not enough is being done to keep children alive on campus.
Even one death, we think most Americans would consider to be unacceptable in schools, which should be safe havens for our children. So certainly 105 was a disconcerting number.
The CDC study concentrated on a 2-year period between 1992 and 94. Nationwide, there were 105 violent deaths in and around schools. The vast majority of victims were students. 85 were homicides. During the 2-year period of the study, a Norland High student was killed following a robbery, and a North Miami High student was gunned down by a friend on campus.
It is a great concern of ours is the number of weapons that are in the hands of young people, and they don't hesitate to use them.
Following years of escalating violence on campuses, Dade and Broward County school systems instituted comprehensive preventive measures that included metal detectors, cameras in hallways, and student crime watch on campus. The most recent report card shows that while Dade schools recorded 2 deaths and averaged more than 200 firearms incidents during 1992 to 94, a year later, and so far this year, no students have been killed, and firearms incidents decreased 43%.
80% of the guns that we recover and weapons that we recover are done through tips from students.
Dade School's top cop says it's the students taking responsibility for their own safety that is making the biggest impact on violence on campuses. Tony?
Yeah, thank you. A man being held without bond in the Broward County Jail is accused of murdering an ex-Dallas Cowboy punter. Police believe Colin Ridgway was shot to death in 1993 by a hired killer. They say this man, Kenneth Bicking, was the trigger man, and that's not all. In fact, investigators say they have 2 other suspects in the case. Ridgway, who was also an Olympic high jumper, played for the Cowboys back in 1965.
Day 2 of the Brian Blades manslaughter trial, and the limousine driver reveals what the Seattle Seahawks football star allegedly said the night of the shooting. Meantime, we are hearing for the first time tonight from the victim's sisters. NBC 6 reporter Robin Kish is live with details. Robin?
Jackie, the Brian Blades manslaughter trial has wrapped up for the day here at the Broward County Courthouse. Today, a key prosecution witness took the stand, establishing for the first time in this trial that the former University of Miami football star may have intended to fire his gun the night his cousin died. Fans, friends, and family huddle around Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Brian Blades. Among those rooting for him in court are the mother and 5 sisters of his cousin Charles Blades, the man he's charged with shooting to death.
We're behind Brian all the way from the first day to now, to the future, and whatever it shall be. We know that it was an accident, and it's a tragedy that something just happened.
In day 2 of testimony, Brian Blades faced this limo driver. He drove Brian, his brother Benny, cousin Charles, and 2 friends the night of July 4th when the group went clubbing. When the driver brought the boys home to Plantation, he says he saw Brian and Benny shove each other and then heard Brian make a menacing threat.
He was going to show him, and he was going to go back to the house, get his gun, and shoot him.
When Brian went home to get his .380 Walther semi-automatic handgun, Charles tried to stop him. The two struggled for the weapon, the gun fired, and a bullet pierced Charles in the neck, killing him.
As to the manner of death of Charles Blades as well.
Homicide.
Manslaughter or mistake, the defense contends prosecutors won't be able to prove that Brian pulled the trigger. 2 of Charles' sisters spoke on camera on the condition their faces not be shown. But this T-shirt speaks volumes about the family bond, their love for Charles and Brian, the brother they say Charles never had.
And my brother Charles would not want it any other way. We wouldn't want it any other way.
In other courtroom developments today, defense attorneys questioned a crime scene technician about her decision not to test for fingerprints on evidence found in the room where Charles Blades' body was discovered. And they also implied that a Plantation police officer may have mishandled evidence when she put Blades' gun in her back pocket at the crime scene. This trial continues tomorrow. If convicted of manslaughter, Blades could face a maximum 7 to 10 years in prison. Reporting live in Fort Lauderdale, Robin Kish, NBC 6.
Robin, thank you. Airport police have put the clamps on a group they say was stealing aircraft parts from Greenwich Air Services. Now, police say this man, Luis Fialos, was the organizer of the whole operation. Fialos was employed by Greenwich. Police received information from the company and began keeping tabs on the suspect. They arrested him and 2 others, Farmar Soljoy and Kevin Smallcombe, for stealing and then reselling the parts.
I decided to begin to question those that had the authority to ship these pieces out. We spoke to that individual, and upon interviewing him, we realized that a theft was actually occurring, that he was part of a ring that was occurring within Greenwich Air Services.
Now, police say some of the parts recovered are valued as much as $35,000. All 3 men are charged with grand theft, conspiracy to commit theft, and dealing with stolen property.
Another band of thieves that targeted Harley-Davidson motorcycles has run out of gas. The South Florida Auto Theft Task Force has busted a group that stole Harley cycles and then had them shipped to South America.
We're here to identify motorcycles from the photographs to locate victims. So number 1, the victims can talk to us and we can let them know what's going on. If we identify the motorcycles, we have a chance of additionally charging these individuals with more crimes.
Unfortunately, if your Harley was stolen by this group, your chances of writing it again are slim to none. But as the detective said, the thieves like to photograph the bikes before shipping them out. Detectives have the pictures on display at the Fort Lauderdale Police Department.
Well, the Florida Panthers may not have the Stanley Cup, but they certainly have the support from South Florida fans for one spectacular season. And tonight, there's a way you can actually put a piece of the ice the 2 teams competed on right in your very own home. NBC 6 reporter Carrie Ross is live at Miami Arena with details of this rather ingenious way of maintaining that ice. Carrie?
It is a very unique process, Tony, and how this is done, and you might want a piece of the action. A company named Just That is making it possible for Panther fans to own a part of the Panthers' spectacular season. If your heart is crushed after last night's defeat, here is some news that might warm you up. How about a slice of the ice, a way in which you can own part of the Panthers' magical season? A company called A Piece of the Action has figured out a way to get a piece of the Panthers' pie. Workers began early this morning breaking up the ice in Miami Arena. It will then be melted into 17,000 gallons of water, which we put into hockey pucks. Each polycarbonate puck will hold about 4 ounces of the water from the actual ice surface.
As far as I know, it's the first time it's ever been done. They not only had the idea, but they did something about it, and they contacted me a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, if you make the finals, we want your ice. We think it'll be a great memento for the fans, and the only thing I asked in return was a donation to our charity.
Therefore, a Miami Arena charity will receive a chunk of the action as well. It's called Tickets to Paradise, in which underprivileged kids and senior citizens receive tickets to Miami Arena events.
We've given away over 30,000 tickets in the last 4 years, and with this additional fundraising effort, we hope to be able to give away more.
Even though last night's game may still seem a bit foggy, the memories are crystal clear. The ice may be crushed and broken, but not our hearts. Now, the pucks are not available just yet. Of course, they haven't even been made yet. But if you need the information on where to get them, you call this number, 1-800-GO-PANTH. That's 1-800-467-2684. As we come back live here at the Miami Arena, we still see some of the ice left here. They think that they're going to get about 100,000 pucks from this Miami Arena ice to sell. And what is that price? $29.95, and 1 to 5% of the proceeds go to that fabulous charity, Tickets for Paradise. And we want to leave one last message here for our Panthers. I'm Carrie Ross, reporting live from the Miami Arena, NBC6.
We sure are very, very proud of the Panthers. Thank you, Carrie. Well, that other hockey team in the Sunshine State is in a much better mood than the Panthers today. The reason the Tampa Bay Lightning have a brand new arena to skate in. Today, the media was given a tour around the Ice Palace, as it is called. The Lightning will play here beginning next season.
Yeah, but we still have that great satisfaction that we made it to the finals.
That's right.
Well, the Olympic Summer Games, of course, are less than 6 weeks away, and there is concern tonight that Atlanta will not be ready. The unfinished projects have Olympic organizers scrambling to finish in time to host the world. NBC6 reporter Mark Strassman has the story.
As Atlanta dresses for a party, so much here keeps building, including pressure. Will the Olympic host city be ready? It's a question best put to Billy.
What is it that is not up to speed or not on schedule?
Billy Payne, visionary cheerleader and taskmaster of Atlanta's games.
Got to keep motivated, keep working just as hard as we have been. Other than that, there are no specific problems with respect to deadlines or schedules that give us any great concern.
Still no decision on a more symbolic issue, the Olympic torch run. Before the torch gets here to Olympic Stadium, will it be allowed to pass through communities that have seized this moment to condemn the lifestyle of gays? Greenville, South Carolina, defiantly keeping its anti-gay resolution, here where the torch will pass in 2 weeks.
I think what's important in the Greenville situation is for us to try to avoid being cannon fodder for various political elements.
Finally, as fans pick up tickets, someone has to pick up the tab. Almost $2 billion. This is, if nothing else, like nothing else, an elaborate summer party.
We are going to be able to pay our bills. We're going to get to the end just like we said we would.
As we hit the final leg, the games appear on track. In Atlanta, Mark Strassman for NBC6.
And opening ceremonies for the Summer Games are set for Friday, July the 19th. Of course, the only place you can see the Summer Games right here on NBC6. And NBC6 will also have a team of reporters. I'll be there.
Including yourself, Tony?
Jennifer, we'll have a great time there for the month of July and August.
That should be fun. Well, an incredible story of survival tonight. A Miami man goes fishing and ends up having to be fished out of the water by the U.S. Coast Guard. The amazing details coming up.
And if you can't come to court, we'll bring court to you. Find out why this Florida judge is doing a trial in a truck.
And a health warning for boaters. A safety device you have in your home could actually save your life on the water. Find out how.
The Florida Panthers. You made South Florida history.
Florida's headed to the Stanley Cup Championship Series.
United a community. And made dreams come true. Now we'd like to say thanks for making it a memorable year.
We'll get them next year.
From your South Florida fans and NBC6, you scored a goal in our hearts.
Channel 6 News at 5:30 is brought to you in part by your South Florida Ford dealers.
To see if you have the winning combination, watch the Fantasy 5 drawing, weeknights during Channel 6 News at 11.
Rosie welcomes the nanny's Fran Drescher. Plus, NYPD Blues' Dennis Franz and comedian Wendy Liebman on the next Rosie O'Donnell Show.
Rosie O'Donnell at 3 on NBC6.
In tonight's Cuba Watch, plans are underway for another memorial flotilla at sea. The Democracy Movement announced today it will return to the high seas on July 13th, the second anniversary of the March tugboat massacre by the Castro regime, and the first anniversary of the attack of the Democracia by Cuban gunboats. The group departs at 5 a.m. from Key West and will return that night at 9. They will reveal on July 13th whether or not they will sail into Cuban waters.
A Miami man is stranded at sea for 3 days, but manages to survive using a makeshift sail. Alicio Torres was on his fishing boat headed from Key West to the Bahamas. His boat started having all kinds of problems, so Torres put together a ragtag sail made of whatever materials he had on hand, and then just drifted at sea.
He was a bit dehydrated. He was a bit seasick when we picked him up. I think he's just feeling a little under the weather from being from exposure.
A group of fishermen found Torres about 100 miles off Charleston, South Carolina. Tonight, he's reportedly doing just fine.
In tonight's Trial Watch, a roller coaster ride at Busch Gardens proves fatal for a 13-year-old girl. Now her family is taking the park to court. The family of Lacey Ingram states in a lawsuit that she died as a result of improper emergency procedures at the park. Lawyers for Busch Gardens say they are not at fault. Exactly 1 year ago today, Lacey Ingram died shortly after riding the Kumba roller coaster. A nursing home is about to cough up big bucks to settle a lawsuit over spit. Carolyn Gale Childers slipped on a puddle of tobacco juice while visiting her mother at a nursing home in Stewart. The lawsuit states the nursing home and its parent company created an unsafe environment by allowing and encouraging the use of tobacco products in the home. And in North Florida, a judge takes his courtroom to the great outdoors. It's not a picnic, you're saying, but a courtroom session in the bed of a pickup truck. A disabled man facing drug charges had problems getting into the actual courthouse because it wasn't wheelchair accessible. Instead of moving the proceedings to the county administration building 12 miles away, the judge rented a tent for $188 and convened court outside.
How about that?
Yeah, pretty good idea.
Well, its makers call it a dieter's dream that allows you to eat as much junk as you like without the fat. But tonight, one group is putting the skinny on an Olestra area that we'll explain.
An old legal problem is coming back to haunt singing sensation Michael Jackson. Also, a Miami man pays cash for Camelot. And now you can see this clock, which once belonged to Jackie O. Find out where.
And I guess the big question we all want to know is, when are we going to get a break from this rain? Well, this is the wettest month of the year. David Damien, I have a feeling, is not going to have too good a forecast when we come back.
Going out? Better check on Mother Nature first. Call the new NBC6 weather phone in Dade 373-4636, code 6666. And in Broward 527-4636, code 6666. It's a free call and a service of the Miami Herald and NBC6.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer Valapi, live in the NBC6 newsroom. Coming up new at 6 o'clock, a lightning strike sends 3 people to the hospital this afternoon. We are on the scene. Governor Lawton Chiles turns the Jimmy Rice tragedy into a legal triumph for Jimmy's parents, a triumph that could help protect her child from predators. And from the players to the fans, we'll show you how South Florida is coping with the Florida Panthers' Stanley Cup loss. We'll see you right here at 6 o'clock.
In health news tonight, a battle to discredit the safety of the new fat substitute Olestra. A consumer watchdog group says the fake fat is hazardous to your health and has launched a new ad campaign to get your attention. The Center for Science and the Public Interest will begin running commercials to inform viewers of alleged negative effects from eating Frito-Lay's new Max chips, which contain the fat substitute.
To alert consumers more fully to the potential problems caused by Max chips, CSPI will be sponsoring a paid TV commercial in the 3 cities.
Jacobson and his group have been very vocal critics of Olestra from the beginning and have appealed the FDA's approval.
If you saw this message on a can of dog food, quote, "This product contains Olestra. Olestra may cause abdominal cramping and loose stools," unquote. Well, this warning isn't on dog food. It's on these new Max potato chips from Frito-Lay. Are you going to give them to your kids?
Frito-Lay's new fat-free chips are the first foods to be made with Olestra, a synthetic chemical made of sugar and vegetable oil. And although it has touched off a firestorm of controversy, it was approved by the Food and Drug Administration in January for use in chips, crackers, popcorn, and similar snack foods. Now all snacks containing Olestra have a warning on the back of every product. And the U.S. snack food industry is currently valued at about $15 billion, and Americans eat about 6 billion pounds of snack foods annually.
Whoa.
Amazing.
Too much for me. Also in health news, here in South Florida, many of you spend time boating, and now doctors are recommending you put a carbon monoxide detector in your cabin. Now, the same device is used to detect the invisible but deadly poison in homes. Carbon monoxide can fill a boat's cabin without warning, especially if the rear cabin door is open or if the exhaust is leaking. I doubt very many pleasure boats were out today. In fact, they were anchored at port.
Oh, sure. These conditions are not ideal for boating, much less other things, right, Dave?
That's right. Good for ducks, though. Yeah, kind of hazy out there. I don't know what camera this is. Fog cam, I guess we're looking at. Can barely see the horizon out there. Oh, there we go. Ah, Mr. Director was fooling me a little bit. This is Mount Sinai camera looking back from the intercoastal. There's the Julia Tuttle Causeway right here. Clouds are breaking up a little bit, but count on clouds being around tomorrow and some more rain in store, too. Let's go ahead and show you the neighborhood network score for this half hour. Perry Middle School in Miramar, 79 degrees, humidity 90%. And not a lot of rain. Folks up in Miramar, check your rain gauge at your neighborhood network school. I have a feeling it might be clogged. It seems a little low. Okay, let's go ahead and show you what's happening. Eye on the tropics time. Look at this big clear area right in here. This is high pressure. Here's a tropical wave moving just west of the Lesser Antilles now, and here's moisture. What's happening is we have a big circulation here, we have a trough out here, and let's go ahead and detail this and show you what's happening. Both of these systems are coming in together, and they're combining, and this is what's called a convergence zone right over the top of us, funneling this moisture. So as long as this stays down here and this trough around a big upper level low stays up to our north, we're going to stay in the soup, and that's exactly what's going to happen over the next couple of days. So that's what's going on in the tropics. Really nothing tropical to speak of, so that is some good news. Pretty good thunderstorm just south and west of Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport right here, just west of the Turnpike, affecting Tamarack, places like that. Some lighter rain just south of there for Plantation out towards Weston. Dade County looking okay right now. Down around Homestead and Cutler Ridge, some lighter rain and some more stuff offshore. But there is some rain in the Keys that may be coming our way and affecting us later on. Now here's upper level low back in here over the Ohio Valley. And look at the circulation around this thing, driving heavy rain and some very strong thunderstorms, especially around Philadelphia and just west of there around Williamsport and Pittsburgh getting in some of the action. Some of these storms putting down a lot of rain and some almost 1-inch diameter hail too. So very cold air aloft, very unstable, causing a lot of problems in the big system. You can see the pinwheel right in through here and that moisture train all the way down over the top of us until this thing breaks down and moves on out of here. We're going to stay wet. Okay, here's your forecast for tonight. Looks like spotty rain, more in the Keys, some thunder around from time to time, about 77. For tonight, more rain and a few thunderstorms just like today. Some heavy storms around too. Will it clear up? Next couple of days says, well, less stormy as we get into Thursday and Friday, but staying steamy. Just your afternoon garden variety thunderstorms by the weekend, I think. I think this system will begin to slowly improve. See you at 6 o'clock. Tony and Jackie.
Not great news, Dave. Thank you very much. Well, the recent break Michael Jackson has enjoyed from controversy is, as they say, history.
That's right. The pop star is being dragged back to court now by the family of the boy who accused Jackson of molesting him. Now, the boy's father is suing Jackson because he says the singer broke a promise not to discuss their multi-million-dollar out-of-court settlement. During an interview last year, Jackson denied the child's accusations. The lawsuit says that, in essence, Jackson called the boy a liar on television.
Well, coming up next, where you can see the legacy of Jackie O.
A treasured piece of Camelot is right here in South Florida. We'll have details for you coming up.
Channel 6 News at 5:30 is brought to you in part by PCA Qualicare.
Well, a man who scored big time at the Jackie O estate auction showed off his goodies today.
And we underscore big. The Carlos Somoza collection was on display today at Los Ranchos restaurant in Bayside. Somoza purchased this clock and this set of spoons during the much publicized auction of the Kennedy memorabilia.
And I wonder how much he paid for that.
I wonder if the clock still works.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to buy a clock for that much kind of money. You want to make sure it works.
Exactly. Well, there's more news ahead on NBC 6.
Here's Jennifer Valapi with a look ahead. Jen?
Tony, thank you. Next at 6 o'clock, the Cinderella season is over, but not before a spectacular run for the Stanley Cup.
I'm Ari Odds, live at the Miami Arena. The game played here last night will go down as a milestone for Panther fans. Why is the team so popular? We'll explore the reasons coming up.
Also coming up, a bolt of lightning sends 3 people to the hospital today as a blanket of dark clouds covers South Florida again. And find out how the tragic death of Jimmy Rice could now help save the lives of other children in Florida. Next on NBC 6.
You're watching WTVJ NBC 6, where the news comes first. This is Channel 6 News at 6.